Hey, HBCU family, Black, Brown, and HBCU Bound, that is. This is Yvonne Daniels again for another episode of our podcast. And today we're going to hit on trending topics, something we don't normally do because we try to be informational and not mess. But trending topics has come to our channel as it relates to two students. We're going to touch on who have come across in things that people are talking about in a big way as of late. Shannon Sharpe, as he just started by saying, he is a Savannah State alum, and this is also going to touch on Puffy a little bit, and it relates to our channel because he also attended Howard University, both HBCUs. A little over a year ago, Shannon Sharpe was on top of the world with his new acclaimed podcast where he had notoriety. This is not his first brush with notoriety, as he is an acclaimed retired football player. So he's not new to the celebrity scene, but he got a resurgence in his podcast, Club Shay Shay. I'm not sure what it's called because I don't watch it faithfully, but I'm aware of it. But he had a guest on, Katt Williams, who blew him into the stratosphere with some revelations of some things were going to happen and also some predictions that he made. Let me say this. You have to be responsible. You're going to hear that throughout what we're talking about today in terms of Shannon Sharpe, his show, his future, and some of the things that are going on today and now what we're talking about now. He had on Katt Williams, and that couldn't have helped his podcast career anymore. As Katt Williams came on, he was a firecracker of a guest, riveting, captivating, and people hung on to his every word. He made some predictions about some people's futures. He unveiled some of the things that people didn't know in the world about some of our entertainers who are beloved and revered, and he helped make Shannon make his mark. We thought it could only go up for Shannon at that point, but unfortunately we are here today, and as you all know, Shannon Sharpe is pretty much caught in a trending sex scandal that has been released, and it seems to be growing more and more every day. Katt Williams also touched on some things that were alleged about P. Diddy, and now today he finds himself scheduled for a trial that is about to start in the upcoming days, and who knows what the outcome of that trial is, but it has the potential to have him doing decades of prison time if found guilty. And that's what ties me into what we're going to talk about today. I wrote down some tips because I didn't want to miss any, just relating to how students and parents, because this is a channel that relates more so to parents, how you can instruct your student, and if you are a student, how you can consider some of the things that you see in the news today. It's very easy to see people and not see yourself in them, but I'm sure Shannon Sharpe didn't see himself where he is today, where he could potentially lose everything that he's worked so hard for, monetarily and reputation-wise. So that's what we're going to focus on today. The first thing I'm going to say, as you guys are going off to college, and you may be already in college, or parents sending their students off to college or sending them back to college, you might want to have some conversations around reputation and why these things matter. We live in a world where everything's out in the open, but when you're living for now or living for the day, you can't see past today. You have no idea what you do today can affect and block opportunities, block blessings for tomorrow, right? So what you have to consider is in terms of dating, because that's a big one. When you go off to college, you don't have anybody telling you what to do, who to see, where to go, how to conduct yourself. You have to rely on, and we hope that you rely on the teachings that your parents or your guardians have bestowed upon you all the years that you have lived under their roof, right? But you will have some newfound freedom. What you have to consider is who you date matters, how you date people matters, what you expose of yourself matters, and who you enter into your life and how they show up in your life matters. All of these things help shape what you can't see as your future, right? What you do today has that potential to propel your future negatively or positively. So you have to really consider that. Your relationships can build you or break you. What people do to you today, what you allow them to do today, what you participate in today, what you encourage today, maybe funny, maybe part of the fad, but these things you can't foresee how they'll play out or how they'll age in your future and how it will affect you. What starts as a private matter today, it could become a public scandal tomorrow. I like to tell people, you have to be careful. I don't know if it's still popular. Thank God I didn't live in this time. People are more comfortable sending nude pictures, participating in all types of sexual, in terms of one partner, two partners, a couple of partners, having these things on film. These are some things that you have to consider. You have to consider because they don't always age well. You don't know where you'll be. You may be somewhere where they're going to do an extensive background check. And you may not, once you get a little older, I'm not going to say once you mature, because you may very well be as mature as you need to be where you are in life. But once you get a little bit more into your professional life, your adulthood, you may find that these things that you participate in today don't age well and have the potential to stifle your growth or block opportunities, like I said before. So be intentional about who you give access to your life, your reputation, and help come into your life to help shape your future. That's very important. You may not see it now, but please listen to these words. Look at other people. The things that Shannon Sharpe was doing allegedly at the time when he was interviewing with Katt Williams, while Katt Williams was exposing other people. Apparently, if what they're saying is true, your club Shannon Sharpe allegedly was involved in some of the things that are being visited upon him right now at that time. And even when Katt Williams gave him a little bit of a reminder of the things that he should be taking into consideration, he might have been engaging in those things at that very time, but not thinking that this was something that's going to come back and bite him if these things are true, what the allegations that are being made turn out to be true. So that what he's going through right now, well, I'm sure he regrets a lot of it, how he handled it, how it was handled at the time, what he's doing today that might potentially hurt him, how the future is going to pan out for him. It looks as if some current opportunities are going to be put on hold right now, maybe hindered, maybe altered. Maybe they're not going to be as lucrative because now he's not as squeaky clean as people thought he might have been. If it turns out that these allegations can be proven, whether or not this person is stretching the truth, maybe this is the truth, we don't know. But the things that he allowed himself to participate in are certainly going to shape what happens to him from this day forward. He's not going to be viewed the same, even if he's vindicated. This will not be forgotten. Some of the things that he's admitted to, some of the engagements that he's had consensually, so he says, even if they were consensual or non-consensual, we got a glimpse into his personal life that I'm not so sure I needed. But you have to understand what you do with another person can affect you later. So be careful. Please be careful. The company you keep, friends, cliques, relationships, their mistakes can become your mistakes. So be very careful of it. Always be aware of the fact that you're there, you're participating in it, you're witnessing it. And some of those things can be seen and might be revealed in the P. Diddy trial. And again, I'm not being messy. I'm mentioning these people because they have ties to our HBCU community. Some of the things, the revelations may become public knowledge as we watch the trial, which is probably going to be the trial of this century. So some of the things that people are going to be dragged into this trial just because they were witnesses, just because they were there, just because they participated or attended a party. You have to be careful with the company you keep. You have to be careful where you go, who's going to be there, what types of activities are taking place there. When you put yourself in these positions, you may not partake in the activities or be an active participant, but sometimes being a bystander can hurt you. These are things that need to be considered. Guilt by association is real in the professional world. It's just not a court of law. It's hard to be able to say that you were not with something when you were standing there. Somebody got a picture of you there, a video of you there. There's a witness or somebody who's going to be able to name or prove or allege that you were there. These are things that can hurt your future. Be aware of them, please. Choose to align yourself with your future, just not your fun. Think of yourself in the future, what your goals are, your aspirations, how what you're doing today can affect any of your upcoming opportunities that you may not even see yet. Alcohol, drugs, party culture, and invisible landmines. This is big. There's a lot of things that have become lax. A lot of places, things like weed are legal. And I don't have an opinion on that. It's not my thing, but I don't have an opinion on it. It's the law of the land in some places, so that's what people do. But you have to consider what you do, who you do with it, who you do them with, who's around, how people view you. Know your limits. Don't rely on strangers or acquaintances for your safety. You have to set standards before you go. Standards. You have to know where you're willing to draw the line. Don't let people derail you. If you make a decision to do something and it blows up in your face, you're not going to be relying on the fact that somebody led you that way. You have to take actions for what you take responsibility for your actions. So make good decisions. If your parents are not working with you right now, if you're newly going off to college, or if you're returning to college, people are going to be engaging in a lot of different things. You have to know what your limits are, and you have to know how you want to shape your future. You're there to get an education. right? And we're here to talk to you about how you can successfully get through attending an HBCU. And this is all part of it. So we're not just being messy with trending topics. Believe me, this is the last thing I want to do is be messy. But from time to time, we will have to talk about some things that are going on that are trending topics, especially if it relates to a student who might have attended an HBCU. So consider that. Always ask yourself, if this went public, how would it affect my life? Would it ruin my chances at my future aspirations? Consider, you don't want to live in a bubble. You don't want to not live, but you have to consider what I'm doing today, the activity that I'm involving myself in, the people that I choose to align myself with. How will this affect my future? If you think it's a go, then you go ahead and partake. But just understand that it will be your responsibility to be able to come back and say to yourself, I made a decision and now I have to live up to that decision. Handle conflict privately and maturely. Heated moments, fights, cheating, scandals, revenge can easily spiral. You don't want to sabotage yourself. Public beefs, campus drama, exposing people, online. Understand that opportunities are tied back to what you do, and your footprint, your digital footprint is real. What you do today, it's not like when I was growing up. Things that people did, you can barely find evidence of that. But today, everything is out there. There's a digital print and everything. There are text messages, as you can see with Mr. Shannon Sharpe. There are text messages. Oftentimes, there's video, as you can see with Mr. Sean Puffy Combs. So these are things that you have to consider. Understand. No one's asking you to be a nun, but just consider your reputation, especially for the ladies. Men sometimes have an easier time with tawdry things that they've done in their past. A lot of times it's harder for a woman to live these things down. So just consider these things. And I'm not trying to say that one sex is less likely to be sunk by something they've done in the past, but sometimes history, when you look back at what women do, they're judged a little bit more harshly, and that's just a reality. Keep in mind, lastly, that your name is a brand. It is your brand, and you're developing that brand. You're not where you're going to be in 10, 15, 20 years. Understand that the steps that you make to get there also have some responsibility tied to how you're living your life. Because a lot of times you enter into fields that have, or jobs that have morality clauses. And so many things that are tied to how you live your life. So that's the theme of this episode, is how you live your life, where you want to go, what you want to do. And keep in mind that a lot of times those are tied to the actions that you're making today while you're young. And a lot of times you're innocent. You don't have a vast knowledge of the world in many cases. Just understand, I say, listen to the teachings of your parents. They may sound naggy, but a lot of times they know. So keep in mind some of the things that Mr. Sean Puffy Combs is going through today, and now Shannon Sharpe. They're not the only two, but they're the highlight. They're the ones that are trending right now. And I felt like I needed to come on and just give you some tips on how to maybe steer clear of some potential scandals yourselves. So with that, I'm going to end here, and hopefully we don't hear anything about our Black, Brown, and HBCU family members who are going off to college, because your future is what you have, and your future is going to shape how you steer your family, and the opportunities you have might be tied to some of your finances. So keep those things in mind as you go forward trying to live your life as a nice newly minted student implanted on one of our wonderful HBCUs. Bye for now. As you always know, I encourage you to subscribe, share this with your friends, visit us on our Black, Brown, and HBCU Bound Facebook group, and I will see you for the next episode. Take care. Bye.